Welcome to The Explainer. So today we are dissecting a massive, absolutely fundamental economic shift that is happening right under our feet. We're going to dive into some cutting-edge data from the Boston Consulting Group and MIT to completely deconstruct the way you think about your career, your time, and ultimately, your wealth.
Let me ask you something. What if I told you everything you've been taught about money is designed to keep you broke because the global economic landscape is undergoing its most radical shift since the first industrial revolution?
Okay, let's really dive into this. Think about it. Every day you wake up, you go to work, and you trade your hours for stagnant wages while living costs absolutely soar. You feel stuck, right? Well, the reason you feel stuck is because you are following an industrial age playbook. You're out there processing atoms. Physical labor, traditional manufacturing, those old ways of doing business, while the rest of the world has rapidly moved on to processing bits and data. Decades of trade policies and industrial shifts have completely hollowed out wages, effectively severing that crucial link between how much you produce and how much you earn. Now the wealthy are operating in this new digital age, and honestly, if you're still just trading your time for money, you're playing a game that ended years ago.
Because of this, millions of people are trapped in roles that are about to be completely disrupted. And the crazy thing is, nobody is clearly explaining the sheer scale of what is coming. According to some incredible research from the Boston Consulting Group, 50 to 55% of all jobs in the US are going to be reshaped by technology in the next 2 to 3 years. Think about that. Not decades from now, literally 2 to 3 years. For so many people, this means facing radically new expectations for how they work and what they actually produce.
And the worst part? This displacement isn't your fault. But in a world where AI will soon master tasks we thought only humans could do, it is your responsibility to fix your strategy before you're left behind.
Let me tell you a quick story that perfectly illustrates this. A few years ago, I met a call center representative who worked 12 hours a day resolving the exact same customer inquiries over and over again, yet they had absolutely zero savings to show for it. Meanwhile, a software engineer I knew was working way fewer hours, but building massive wealth. Now, the difference wasn't just their industry, it was their relationship with technology. The rep was in what economists actually call a substituted role, where their highly structured, repeatable time was systematically being replaced by algorithms. The engineer, on the other hand, was in an amplified role. They were using AI as this powerful cognitive assistant to build scalable systems that produced more value in one single hour than a human could potentially produce in a whole week.
So this builds into a fundamental law of the new economy. One of those workers knew the hidden rule, and it's this: don't compete with the machine, orchestrate it. You see, when you try to compete with an algorithm on structured, repeatable tasks, you are going to lose every single time. The cost of computing power drops every single day, but your living expenses sure don't, right? So the key is shifting your position from being the one doing the work to being the one directing the machine that's doing the work.
Stop scrolling for a second. The fourth industrial revolution is no longer a future prediction. It is happening right now, and it's obliterating the distance between you and a new kind of wealth.
So to figure out where you want to be, we can look at the two critical factors in AI's impact: labor substitution and demand expandability. Right now, most people are still trading time for money in a traditional economy, caught in a spot where they are easily substituted. But the wealthy? They've pivoted into the digital economy. They operate in areas of high demand expandability. Basically, this means they leverage technology to expand the demand for their output exponentially.
Let's actually define that clearly, because it is just so incredibly important. Demand expandability is a phenomenon where AI reduces the cost of producing something, which then unlocks all this latent demand and allows output to scale exponentially. It's kind of like the Jevons paradox. When the cost of a resource falls, its usage actually goes up. In this new era, your productivity is no longer about how hard you physically work. It is entirely about how much technology you can leverage to expand the demand for whatever it is you output.
And to see how this massive scaling actually happens in practice, we can look at some fascinating MIT research. It shows us that the true secret sauce of the digital economy isn't just building a basic platform. It's all about network effects, driven by this virtuous cycle of APIs, analytics, and apps. You see, the wealthy don't just work. They own intangible assets, like software, data, and digital platforms. Because of those network effects, the value of their systems increases exponentially as more and more people use them. They are literally earning even while they sleep. They build an API, run analytics on the data, build better apps, attract more users, and the whole cycle just accelerates. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill.
But listen up, because here is the massive trap you absolutely need to avoid.
As automation advances, it creates what researchers are calling the paradox of automation's last mile. Essentially, this is the rise of the middle human. A middle human is someone who acts as, well, human middleware, endlessly cleaning up AI's mistakes for really low pay. Imagine a junior worker whose entire day is just spent tweaking AI-generated copy or fixing formatting errors. Their actual labor is largely invisible. They're basically just feeding the AI machine and cleaning up after it. And look, if you are doing this, you are working for the AI, not the other way around.
But here's the twist. The tools to build these massive, scalable systems are no longer locked in corporate boardrooms. This fourth industrial revolution is a tool anyone can start using today to move from being displaced to being amplified.
So the absolutely crucial point here is how you transform yourself from a middle human into an AI conductor. You know, the person who actually orchestrates the machine's symphony. Well, here are 4 actionable steps to help you make that leap. Step 1, develop systems thinking. You really need to understand how tools and tasks interconnect so you can design the workflows rather than just mindlessly executing them. Step 2, sharpen judgment. You have to be the editor-in-chief of the AI. That means having deep domain expertise to know exactly when the AI is hallucinating or just completely missing the mark. Step 3, master storytelling. Sure, AI can generate a ton of data, but it takes a real human to weave a narrative that actually makes sense to stakeholders. And finally, Step 4, hone strategic communication. You must become that critical interface between human goals and machine execution. You've got to know how to prompt the AI effectively and explain those results crystal clearly to human leaders.
Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about getting a promotion. This is about your macroeconomic survival. Recent research initially highlighted some pretty severe economic risks tied to global disruptions, and while models are always being refined, the overall trend is clear. Massive economic shifts are coming. If you want to understand how to survive the 19% drop in global income predicted for 2050 and thrive in the age of AI, hit like and subscribe, because the next explainer might just change your life.